feel like I'm coming back with a renewed sense of vigor and a desire to, sort of prove that even though I have fun, like I'm not to be taken lightly. I'm not going to be taken advantage of.
Women's
So,
Wrestling Talk, the #1 women's wrestling show on the planet.
Bonjour, you're watching Women's Wrestling Talk, the #1 women's wrestling show on the planet. My name is TK Trinidad, and today we have an amazing show and, of course, nothing but amazing guests. She is a roller skating sensation and a wild superhero. Please welcome Foxxy Fierce. How are you doing?
good. How are you?
I am good. I am good. So, as we were talking before we started, like we hadn't seen you in a while. So you were a little bit injured. So how's everything? What was the injury, and how's the recovery going?
Yeah. I had an altercation with Chainsaw and got thrown through a wall, as I'm sure some of you saw.
Yes.
Um, and I injured my shoulder. So I've been rehabbing that, recovering. It's been a long process, frustrating at times, but, I feel like I'm coming back and better than ever.
There it is. There it is. So what are you most looking forward to as far as now? Like oftentimes when you come back from an injury, it's like you're ready to take on everything. So what are you most looking forward to getting into next?
Yeah, I mean, definitely, I just have to hash things out with Chainsaw because it just felt like a moment of blatant disregard and disrespect. So I know I love to have fun and groove and dance, but I do not play. So when it's time to get down to business, got to do that. But I'm also looking forward to other aspects of being back and just knowing that I can come back from anything. So I think that's really propelling me forward. Yeah.
Okay, okay. And so now kind of an off-topic question, but not really. Being a yoga instructor, are you a yoga instructor who plays music or doesn't play music?
Plays music. We gotta have music. I mean, it's if you want to meditate in silence, that is fine. But I like to switch it up too. I think people do traditional instrumentals a lot of the time, but I like
Hmm.
to do some lo-fi, hip hop, something that you can kind of, groove to a little bit, get some rhythm going while we're doing the yoga.
Okay, okay. Because I know every instructor is a little bit different, and there's like it's a varying opinion depending on who you talk to, especially out here in LA. So I had a feeling you were on the music side of things, but just had to double check.
No, you
Um,
got to.
so so kind of did you use your yoga training to help with the kind of recovering?
Oh yeah, for sure. Had to be careful there for a little bit because yoga involves a lot of planks and it can involve a lot of upper body things.
Hmm.
But I was able to use that, especially towards the end of my recovery journey, to sort of rehab and get into movement slowly. So
Nice.
yeah.
So let's get into it. So we're in the middle of March, Black History Month. Being a part of a family, especially like, attached to your grandfather who's done so much amazing things, how do you like channel that energy? Or do you feel pressure? The fact that he's done so much amazing things that's like, okay, well, like I have to kind of carry on that torch.
Yeah, I mean, I do think there is an aspect of pressure because, of course, you want to make your family proud and you want to live up to expectations, particularly uh, since certain ones have been set already.
Hmm.
Uh, but I feel prepared for that. I feel like my family has raised me in a way that. Even though that may be a bit challenging to live up to those expectations, I know I can do it because I have their support and they've instilled values in me that make it easier for me to achieve my goals.
Nice. So is it like something like daily? Are you like constantly reminded, or is there certain aspects? Because I have this kind of the same type of aspect with my family where it's just like I feel like this um I have to like uphold this standard of sorts. Um and there's certain instances where it's just like you feel it more than others, or is this something like daily that like you're not reminded of, but you're just like every day I have to kind of live to the most.
Yeah, I think, well, because of the type of person I am and my personality, I think I do that for myself. I think I'm just the personality type where it's like, all right, like we gotta keep going for bigger and better and, doing the best that we can. So I guess it's sort of a daily thing in that
Mhm.
way, but, I wouldn't say that pressure necessarily comes from them. I think that's just sort of a thing that's ingrained at this point. But there are specific instances as well, I suppose, where I feel a little bit more motivated to uphold that legacy.
Yeah. And speaking of motivation, I mean, training as far as wrestling and everything else is just, and living in Los Angeles is a whole entire thing. So, what's the day in the life of Foxy Fierce? Like, how do you fit it all in?
Yeah, it's a lot. Training, of course, is a lot. And yeah, running around doing all the other things. But I manage somehow. So I guess a day in the life, I definitely start my day with some yoga or some other kind of movement, whether that's roller skating or going to the gym. I also have a little dog that I love very much. So got to take care of him, make sure he's all well and good. And then, depending on the day or what time it is, I'll head to wrestling training at some
Mhm.
point. And then I'll just work on whatever personal projects I have at the time. Um, what else? Definitely cook some healthy meals. Every day is sort of a mixed bag, and I like to keep it that way. I like to switch
Okay.
things up. But yeah.
Okay. And is there any are we looking forward to any, family members joining the wrestling family as well?
Well, you have to stay tuned to see about that. We'll see. Just stay
Okay.
tuned.
Okay. Now, there's just a lot since you started. There's like, kind of looking back at your old matches, there are some wrestlers who are no longer with WoW, and there's a whole bunch of wrestlers that in the time that you've taken off has been added to WoW. So, are there
Yeah.
any wrestlers in particular that you're looking forward to having matches with?
Oh, that's a good question. I think Katarina Jinx is very strong, and I've seen the work that she puts in. So, if I had to name one person that I'd be interested to go up against, I'd probably say her. Yeah.
And then, I mean, I know they have the trios. They just added the trios championship. Do you think because there's so many WoW superheroes now that there should be an additional belt, or are you like gunning for like the tag team belt, the singles belt? Like, what is your kind of like now that you're walking back into this after taking some time off? What is your like overlook? Because I'm assuming everybody wants to be champion at some point. So it's like, how do you get there?
Yeah, I think that's definitely a fair statement. I'd say right now I am gunning for that championship title, the singles, because I got so close last season with that gauntlet match. So
Hmm.
that's something that I've kind of had my heart set on for a while, and I feel like I can really do it. So that's definitely what I'm going for. And as for the other titles, I think it's nice to be decked out. It's nice to hold different multiple titles, but yeah, that's where I'm at with that.
And then if you were to, toss your hat in for the trios title, who other two WoW superheroes would you partner up with?
Yeah, I'm a big proponent of go with what you know. So I've worked with Chantilly for a while, and we work really well together. I've also tagged with Candy Crush in the past, so
Hmm.
I think I would grab the two of them because I think we work really well together, and our vibes work really well together as well. So yeah.
Okay, I like it. When you are not wrestling and doing yoga and all the other things, what does Foxy Fierce do on her off time? Do you have off time?
When I have off time, I like to paint. I like to read. Listen to some good music, hang out with friends, all types of things. Sometimes
Hmm.
I feel like I can get a little bit scattered, and I'm like, well, now I got to fit in all of the all of the off time activities.
Hmm.
But yeah, there's a
So,
variety of things.
are you like painting, like because I know a lot of people who paint too. I also live in LA, so it's a very eclectic group of people, especially when you're in the entertainment sphere. Like, do you paint and you sell your paintings, or it's just like you paint and you have like a whole wall full of your paintings?
More the second one, working on getting to that point now, pushing it out there. But painting has really always been a thing that I mainly did for myself.
Hmm.
Uh, but yeah, I might be showing up at a gallery or a showcase near you at
Okay.
some point. So
All right.
watch out.
I like it. I like it. Now, have your parents gotten used to the fact of you being a WoW superhero?
They have, and they are beyond proud. So I really, really appreciate their support. but yeah, they're loving it, and they're along for the journey. I think at first it was a little shocking to hear they weren't expecting that career trajectory, but they're my number one fans, my biggest supporters. You know, my mom is always like, "So and so saw you or whatever. I sent them your stuff." So I appreciate them so much.
And what's your favorite part about being a WoW superhero?
Well, that's a really good question. Man, there's so many things, but I think the biggest one is just being in an environment where I feel truly valued, and where I feel I can be my authentic and full self. You know, I strive to be in those environments and to stay away from ones where I don't feel accepted. So
Mhm.
to be at WoW, and to have always felt like I'm welcome and like I can show up as my truest self, it's just amazing. So yeah.
I know, like, when I first saw you, I was just kinda like the fro was, like, everything. I was just like, "This is
Thank you.
amazing," and, just being able to showcase that. And so how did that come like, how did you start developing the character of Foxy Fierce? Because I know with other promotions, it's just kind of like they take certain aspects of somebody's personality and they just kind of amp it up more. So,
Mhm.
like everything, you see different elements of, the 70s and, black culture and all that stuff just wrapped up into your character. So how did you and WoW kind of go about developing that?
Yeah, there are definitely a few things that went into it. One of them, of course, like you mentioned earlier, you know, with my grandparents' legacy and the things they did, I've always been very tuned in to my culture and proud of who I am and where I come from. So that, of course, had to be an element. And then in terms of like the roller skating disco thing, that was something I was already doing, roller skating, and I've just always been a natural hair girl and love to
Mhm,
embrace my features. So that was part of it. And then I always say it's in the name specifically. One of my goals, and I think something I struggled with growing up, was feeling that I could bring all parts of myself to the table, you know, and be more than one thing at the same time. So with
mhm,
Foxy Fierce, I'm bringing together the foxy, which is that poise, that grace, that femininity, and the fierce, which is that strength, that tenacity, that power, and saying those things aren't mutually exclusive. They can exist all at the same time. I can be many things at once. So that's sort of the rundown of how I came to be.
yeah, and it's kind of like, I know if I were, a little girl, I would relate to your character. So, have you had, little girls, and little boys come up to you, really kinda looking up to you, and what's that kind of interaction been like?
Oh yeah, that's honestly that's my favorite part. Like I love cuz I feel like as a kid I would have wanted to see somebody like that as well. So when I see the kids come up, you know, and they're at the shows and their parents are bringing them out, uh it just warms my heart. Like I feel even more grateful and honored to be doing what I'm doing because, you know, they're looking up, they're singing, you can tell that it really resonates with them. And you know, I have a little nephew and he watches and tunes in and is like, I told my class about you. Here's a here's a drawing, auntie. So yeah, I love when the kids are tuned in. It's just amazing.
Oh, nice. And now do you come from a big family or?
Mid-size. Well, yeah, my mom's from the South, so we have we have the extended family, and you know,
Mhm.
it's jumping whenever there's a family reunion. But yeah.
And then what can we look forward to? You're back. I mean, I know you can't give away too much, but what can we look forward to with Foxy Fierce being back on the scene?
Yeah, well, you know that I'm coming back and I'm going to bring it because, you know, even though I've always been able to enjoy myself and have fun in the ring, I feel like I'm coming back with a renewed sense of vigor and a desire to, you know, sort of prove that even though I have fun, like I'm not to be taken lightly, I'm not going to be taken advantage of. So
Mhm.
I'm definitely coming back. to lay to rest this situation with Chainsaw and, to let her know what's up.
Look, Chainsaw is scary, is very scary to me. So, I mean, um, I guess without giving away too many, like how do you plan on taking down this woman? Because there's a lot going on.
No, there's a lot. It's a lot. And yeah, Chainsaw is definitely a formidable foe. She's got the height to her, and she's got her whole thing going on.
Mhm.
Um, but I just know that I can. Like when I have to stand on business, you got to do what you got to do. So I'm just
Okay.
put fear aside and go in there and do what you have to do.
I like it. Now, last question before we get out of here. As far as Black women, there's so many Black female wrestlers that are doing amazing things. Like it's just crazy in 2024. We're seeing so many champions, etc. Are there any women wrestlers that you like look up to that you would either love to meet or love to have a match with outside of the WoW superhero universe?
I'm just so proud and happy to see where we are right now. Like it's just amazing to see so many Black women wrestlers winning and doing well. So yeah, I love that. It's a joy to watch and to be a part of that. And then when I think about like someone I'd want to meet or go up against, I actually I like to rewind a bit and take it back to those Black women that paved the way in the 50s and the 60s.
Hmm.
If we're crossing time boundaries, yeah, like Marva Scott, Ethel Johnson, Kathleen Wembley. They goes on and on. So
Hmm.
many people who paved the way for me to be here today and the other Black women wrestlers. So I would love to meet one of them and to get to the opportunity to thank them for what they went through so that we could be here now.
Well, there it is. Thank you so much. I look forward to all the amazing things that you're going to be doing in the next coming episodes. With that being said, where can everybody find you?
Yes, I am Foxy Fierce _wow on TikTok and Instagram. So yeah, check me out. Don't be a stranger.
Yes. And thank you for joining. Thank you guys so much for watching. You can follow me and everything at TK Trinidad. You can follow everything as far as women's wrestling talk at WWE Talk Pod, www.talkpod.com on the website. Thank you guys so much for watching Women's Wrestling Talk, the #1 women's wrestling show on the planet. Ciao for now.
Bye.
Women's Wrestling Talk, the #1 women's wrestling show on the planet.